the one that put together the tax list of all the things that are on the ballot. Marijuana. Please, please, please vote yes for new marijuana taxes this November.
Yeah.
We've referred to the ballot the excise tax that Amendment 64 contemplated. We set it at the full 15%. People thought they were going to get money for schools out of the marijuana legalization and regulation, and that 15% excise tax is what funds school construction initiatives in Colorado. We also put a 10% sales tax in the same ballot question, and the sales tax is going to fund regulatory costs of making sure we have a strict and thorough regulatory system for legal marijuana sales. It's also going to fund more training for law enforcement, research into health effects or impacts on criminal law and criminal behavior of legalization. There's probably going to be some of that sales tax money that will start being used for substance abuse treatment or mental health treatment. We're going to try and take some of the revenue from this sin tax and have some money to be able to pay for some of the impacts of this sin, if you will. And so, whether you were for or against Amendment 64, I want to encourage you to please vote yes on the tax and talk about it with your friends and neighbors, because this is on the ballot and we need to vote for what's going to look like a 25% tax on marijuana. And just know that part of the money is going to schools like voters wanted, and part of it is going for taxing and regulating marijuana like the voters wanted. And so if you were for Amendment 64, this tax and the regulatory system, we think is going to be really important to keep the feds from coming in and raiding the whole thing and shutting it down. If you were against Amendment 64, we think this tax is going to fund a pretty thorough regulatory system that's going to try and keep some control on this, keep it out of the hands of kids and out of the black market and diversion. So whichever side of 64 you were on, we should all agree that the marijuana tax is a necessary and good thing, and be promoting it and asking for a yes vote this November.
It seems like a really big part of that in communicating it is that that's a tax for people who are buying marijuana, right? It's nobody else is affected by it. And
It's a sin tax that none of us pay, right?
I think that, I know you're going to leave, Pat.
Only out of town.
I know you're going to leave, but I think that and the School Finance Act are the two that we know are going to be on the ballot,
Right.
and that we really should do something as a district to mobilize our voters to support those. And I hope we can get you back in some kind of, maybe a forum to kind of kick off some awareness and some walking and knocking to
Absolutely,
push this.
because right now they're still trying to decide which one of these school finance tax increases is going to be the one that they petition onto the ballot. They filed, I think, 37 different versions or something. They're polling and focus grouping and doing all the work you need to do. It's going to be a really huge campaign. I mean, this is a huge tax increase. I said it. And the proposal, the school finance reforms, the bill is almost 200 pages long. It's incredibly complicated, but it's an incredibly thorough and well thought out plan for really providing much more equity and fairness in how school monies are distributed, looking to local property taxpayers to shoulder their fair share of the burden and how much the state supports in addition to local property taxes. It's a massive reform, and it's going to be a difficult campaign. It hasn't started yet. They haven't picked the exact ballot issue, but I know Mike Johnston and a lot of folks are going to be really actively involved this year. So if you want a summer program on that, I think it's a great idea. If you want to put together a forum to come hear pros and cons on the school finance idea, I think that's some really good ideas for later this year. And like I said, no matter what side of the marijuana thing you're on, we should all be voting yes. That's my message on that one.
Well, I know, because I went to a panel Tuesday with Cadman and Weller. You're not describing the same legislature they talked about.
They serve right there, but on the other side of the aisle, and I'm sure the view is a little different.
It's quite different.
Hey, I'm going to take off to House District 8. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.